I would tell you just to kind of envision that wherever you wanted to start.
A free mental health treatment program for military veterans and their families is marking its 4th year. Helen Ross McNabb Center launched that program back in 2016. Tonight, how far it's come and who it's helping.
But there's the little girl, and we couldn't stop. We couldn't give her any food, couldn't give her any water.
Combat veteran Fred Mize thought documenting the raw realities of soldiering and war overseas might dull the pain.
I saw that little girl every time I ate a snack, and it tormented me. And it tormented me every time I saw someone in a restaurant waste food. It just angered me. I never had suicidal thoughts, but I prayed to God several times in my life to just take me.
The torment of that snapshot scene in the desert back in 2004 haunted this East Tennessee veteran for more than a decade.
It affected me in many different ways. Like at one point I didn't even want to go to church anymore because it bothered me to see Christians smile in church. And I'm a Christian myself, but it bothered me to see other people smile because I remembered all the things that I saw and witnessed in Iraq, and I just felt like they didn't understand.
Then in walked Tony Weaver to Fred's life, a trained counselor with Helen Ross McNabb Center and a military veteran, a fellow soldier.
And Tony helped me just dramatically.
Being a veteran, it's important. A lot of people feel like that they're misunderstood. They don't their therapist or counselor may not understand their language or the culture. And so automatically when folks come into the clinic here, we have an instant connection.
Tony is one of 3 veteran counselors with the military services arm of the Helen Ross McNabb Center. The nonprofit in the last 4 years has treated more than 400 veterans and their families. The program is designed for 6 months. Some clients need more, some less, but all of the counseling here is free.
Myself personally, I've treated teenagers up to veterans, a Korean War vet in his 80s. The younger ones, we had a young lady call in a few years ago who was having a crisis situation. Her dad was deployed, and she just needed dad. Wives, it's the absence of the husband, you know, being a single parent or just being alone in the house. But with most of our veterans, it's how to reintegrate. It's more interpersonal. And they're just so downtrodden, just so feel beaten down. They feel just rejected by society at large.
I had a lot of, I guess you would say, baggage from my tour of duty in Iraq with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I felt some empowerment putting my thoughts on paper, my memories on paper, but yet it made those memories all come back to life. And it was tormenting me emotionally and physically even.
At one point, his veteran counselor suggested Fred drop his writing project for a few weeks and put total focus on their sessions.
Fred was going through a very serious time of depression, and he just couldn't quite put his finger on what was going on with him.
I got further along in my therapy than I felt like I could write more, and I did so.
Fred's finished book doesn't shy away from trauma or loss.
His death's bothered me a whole lot, but Sergeant First Class Stephen Kennedy.
Almost a dozen soldiers tied to the 278th are memorialized on paper and in this soldier's memory.
My good friend, Sergeant John McHugh, held Kennedy to the end.
The grief hasn't gone away, but Fred Mize credits his counselor with teaching him to manage that emotion and others he'll continue to confront.
And that's the goal from day one. I tell them, I want to give you the tools so you can self-treat.
And the final dedication in this book conveys a hopeful optimism for another fellow soldier.
I dedicated my book to my son Isaiah. And Isaiah, there again, he was 6 years old when I deployed and 8 years old when I came back. And now Isaiah is Sergeant Isaiah Mize in the Tennessee Army National Guard as well.
He serves right alongside you?
Yes. If I did not get help, I don't know where I would be right now in my life. I certainly wouldn't be living, I would just be existing right now.
That program has the attention of state leaders. Governor Bill Lee carved out tens of thousands of dollars in the state budget for it. COVID-19 killed that funding. Despite the setback, private dollars are helping that program expand, and we'll take a look at that next week.